Have you ever heard of the curse of Ham? Have you ever wondered why a righteous father like Noah cursed his own lineage? Get ready, because this story is not only a piece of biblical history, but also a journey full of mystery, surprises, and not lacking in the ultimate plot twist moments. Imagine you are Ham, Noah's second son, an extremely lucky character who escaped the Great Flood, while the whole world was submerged in floodwaters. Your family survived thanks to a giant ark filled with animals. Sounds like a top adventure movie, right? But don't get too excited, because with just one small action, Ham fell into a tragedy whose consequences would last for generations. So, what happened? We are talking about a dramatic moment. Ham accidentally caught his father, Noah, in a state of skimpy after drinking too much wine. It was not only a bizarre event, but also a turning point that changed the fate of the whole family. But instead of handling it delicately, Ham chose to gossip with his brothers. And, yes, it led to a curse you would never expect. Speaking of Noah, he was not only a righteous man chosen by God to rebuild humanity after the Great Flood, but also a father with a huge responsibility. But even the greatest man sometimes let his guard down. This journey is not only about Ham and his mistake, but also explores valuable lessons. Why is respect for family so important? Why can a small action lead to huge consequences? This story is not simply about an ancient family. It is a profound and slightly humorous reminder of respect. Respect and the mistakes we, sometimes unintentionally, make. Are you hooked? Stay until the end of the video to discover the deep secret of Ham's curse, how it affects the future of his entire lineage, and the life-changing lessons we can learn from this seemingly silly but extremely profound story. Imagine you are Ham, Noah's son, one of the only survivors of the Great Flood. You've just stepped off the ark. The land is fresh. The air is clean. The future is wide open. Everything is great until you walk into your father's tent, and then boom, a sight that makes you want to turn the car immediately. Your father, Noah, the most righteous, most virtuous man you've ever known, is drunk, naked, as if he's just won the lottery without anyone noticing. But instead of covering up the shame for your father, you think, here's a chance to tease him. And so Ham, instead of acting respectfully, chooses to run outside and tell the whole story to his two brothers, Shem and Japheth, with a tone of unmistakable sarcasm. It's like, hey, can you believe it? Our old man is ruining the tent. What Ham did was not only a moral slip, but also a great honor slip. Think about it. Here was a father who had shouldered the responsibility of saving his entire family from a global disaster. And the way he was treated was ridiculed by his own son? In a cultural and biblical perspective, this was an unacceptable act. Disrespecting one's parents was not only a moral violation, but also a breach of the sacred bond between one generation and the next. Ham's actions became a great lesson in irresponsibility and filial piety. When Shem and Japheth heard the news, they did not join in with Ham, but instead, they carefully retreated into the tent, covering their father with a cloth without looking at him. They not only saved their father from embarrassment, but also showed respect, something Ham had completely failed to do. In short, if there is a lesson to be learned from this act, it is this: when you see others make mistakes, especially your parents, choose to act with kindness and respect. If not, Ham's story should serve as a reminder that thoughtless actions can have bigger consequences than you might think. Picture this dramatic scene. Ham bursts out of his father's tent, giggling as if he's just seen a hilarious YouTube video. He tells his brothers, Shem and Japheth, about the awkward state of their father Noah, who is drunk and naked. But instead of laughing or gossiping, Shem and Japheth immediately know that this is no joke. It's time for action. While Ham chose to make a joke of his father's mistake, Shem and Japheth did the opposite. They decided to defend Noah's honor. But they didn't just walk into the tent and cover it up. Oh no, not that predictable. They coordinated like two main characters in a spy movie. They took a large piece of cloth, placed it on their shoulders, and then walked backwards. Yes, backwards, without looking directly at their father. They walked carefully, as if on a top-secret mission. This action was not only a show of respect, but also a declaration: we will not participate in this farce. Instead of following Ham, they chose to do the right thing, covering their father's shame without looking at him, showing the utmost kindness and respect. This was not only a way to save their father from humiliation, but also a way to protect the sacred family relationship. Put yourself in the shoes of Shem and Japheth, and you will understand that this action was not easy. They had to face their father's shame, but they did not let it overshadow their moral responsibility. In the Bible, honoring parents is emphasized by God, Exodus 20 verse 12, and the actions of these two sons are a living testament to that. So what is the lesson here? If you see someone make a mistake, especially a loved one, choose to deal with it with respect and kindness. Don't make their mistakes a topic of discussion. Be like Shem and Japheth, the unsung heroes who put respect and love above all else. And remember, sometimes the right thing to do is to step back. Now things get intense, like a dramatic finale to a TV series. When Noah wakes up from his drunken stupor, he realizes what has happened, and, like a righteous but also determined father, he pronounces a curse whose consequences will last for generations. But here comes the biggest twist. Noah does not curse Ham, who committed the sin, but Canaan, Ham's son. Why does Canaan have to suffer the curse? This question has left many scratching their heads. Ham was the one who had mocked his father, but the curse fell on Canaan, his son. According to the Catholic Bible, this is not only a personal punishment, but also a symbolic prophecy about the future of Ham's lineage. Perhaps Canaan is mentioned because he would become the father of a people known for their rebellion and alienation from God, the Canaanites, who would later confront the Israelites in biblical history. Noah's curse was not simply a father's anger, but a prophetic statement. In Genesis 9 verse 25, Noah said, "Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves will he be to his brothers." This was not just a punishment, but also a prediction of the fate of Canaan's descendants to become servants of servants, that is, the lowest class in society. The power of curses, a warning to all generations. Noah's curse is a clear testament to the power of words, especially those given under the inspiration of God. This also underscores a lesson. Sin does not only affect individuals, but can also be passed down through generations. Interestingly, the curse is surprisingly fair. It is a reminder that irreverent and immoral actions can have lasting consequences. The Canaanites later lived in rebellion against God, and Noah's curse came true when the Israelites, descendants of Shem, conquered the land of Canaan. Lessons from the curse. Noah's curse is not just a story of punishment. It is also a reminder that respect, especially for parents and those God has placed above us, is of paramount importance. Ham's actions were not only an insult, but also a symbol of moral decadence, and its consequences serve as a powerful warning to all of us. Be careful with your actions, for they may create a legacy you never want to leave behind. Thus, Noah's curse is not simply an old story, but a vivid, profound lesson that is still relevant today. If there is one thing we can learn from this story, it is small actions, big consequences, and always remember, live so that the last word about you will be a blessing, not a curse. Have you ever wondered how a small action can have such a big impact? Ham's story is not only a lesson in respect, but also a powerful reminder of the power of our choices and actions. And trust me, this is not just a dry moral lesson. It is full of drama, humor, and even a plot twist that is as good as any blockbuster. Respect and honor of others, the unwritten laws of life. First, let's talk about respect. What did Ham do wrong? Instead of defending his father in his moment of weakness, he ridiculed and humiliated him. But Shem and Japheth were different. They acted with respect, willing to cover up their father's honor without complaining. The lesson? Protect the honor of others, especially your parents, who have sacrificed so much for you to be where you are today. In today's world, it's easy to go along when someone makes a mistake. But did you know that those sarcastic words or disrespectful actions can hurt not only others, but also you? Remember, honor your father and mother, Honor your God. Exodus 20 verse 12. Wrongful actions. The domino effect that can't be stopped. If you think that what you do today only affects you, then Ham's story will make you think again. Ham's mistake affected not only him, but also his generations. Noah's curse on Canaan is a clear example of how sin can be passed down through generations, not through blood, but through behavior and values. If you choose to sow good seeds today, your children will reap blessings. But if you sow disrespect, the consequences can be felt by an entire generation. Beware of life, the mistakes of the strongest. And finally, let's talk about Noah, a righteous man, chosen by God himself to rebuild humanity. But even he, in a moment of carelessness, fell into error, drinking himself to the point of intoxication and embarrassing himself. The lesson here? None of us are immune to mistakes, no matter how strong and resilient you are. We live in a world full of temptations, and anyone can stumble. But the important thing is, what can you learn from your mistakes and those of others? Always be vigilant, keep the faith, and never let a moment of weakness define you. Be a guardian of your family's honor. Be vigilant against temptation. And don't forget that your words and actions can leave a lasting mark on the world. If you find this story inspiring, please subscribe now. We're here to bring you fun, inspiring, and engaging Bible lessons every week. Come join us on our journey to discover the meaning of life. Party Popper.